Welcome to episode 1 of the evolution of confidence. The evolution of confidence is a concept that I came up with when I was about 12 years old, and I started journaling about just different phases of my life and how I was starting to gain confidence. I was not born having a ton of confidence. I didn't naturally have it. I remember in school seeing other girls or other people just naturally being so confident in themselves, so sure of themselves. And it was something that I really valued, and it was something that I knew I was missing, but it was something that I knew I could practice instead of just taking it as a loss and saying, I'm just not a confident person, I never will be. And I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I know that throughout my posts on social media or just in my day-to-day life speaking with people, that is the number one thing that comes up, especially for women, is that they want to know how I've gained the confidence to achieve what I've achieved. If you don't know me, my name is Juliette. I am a realtor in South Florida, but I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've been starting businesses since I was 11 years old, doing facials for my grandma. Started a paddleboard yoga business when I was 18. And from there, I've had every job you can think of, sometimes for a week, sometimes for a year. But I have always been the kind of person that just goes after what I want. And doing that without confidence is truly a practiced art, in my opinion. And I would love to share that with you guys and really share the struggles that I've gone through, but also I want to highlight how other people have gained their confidence to start their own businesses, because there is no magic potion, there is no magic outline that anybody can go by to start something that is completely uncharted territory for them. So listen on if you want to gain some inspiration. Episode 1 is going to be me speaking about my own experience, and the episodes following this will be to learn about other people's experiences in their evolution of confidence. First, I'd like to start with a story just about my personal experience, and I think it definitely is of the time. There are so many people right now that have lost their jobs, and it breaks my heart to see that, because I know that there are so many people that have started businesses on their own, especially retail businesses, especially small restaurants, who have put everything into their business and put their passion and their heart and soul into it. And there's really nothing that they could have done to improve their situation. So my heart goes out to those people. And I hope that this can inspire you to realize that there are other outlets and there are other ways to get by. So the reason why I started real estate was because I had put years and years into medical device sales. It was my passion at the time. It was my dream to be a surgical sales representative. I started in college doing internships. I started full-time pharmaceutical sales in college as well. Just to get ahead, because I knew that it was such a competitive field and that I would have to work really, really hard to get to the position that I wanted to and as quickly as I wanted to. And then once I got to that point where I was at the surgical sales level, I was offered a really, really amazing position. I quit my other job. I was waiting for the onboarding for 2 months. As you can imagine, it was a very stressful 2 months of not being employed. And then I got the call that the job was no longer available to me. So you can imagine, especially during this pandemic, I think a lot of people can imagine and are living it right now, how it feels to just work so hard for something and have it kind of taken out from under you. But the lesson in that is to really look inside yourself and say, what could I have done differently to be a better asset or to make that opportunity have worked for me. And the only option I really had, because I had my real estate license, was to just put my all into that. And I thought, well, all the things that I learned in medical sales and all of the efforts that I put into that, if I put it into real estate, something has to give. And I did that and started being successful right away because I had to. I didn't have the savings. I didn't have a nest egg. I didn't have, something to work off of to get a bunch of marketing going and all that stuff. I had the bare minimum. I had my business cards. I made little postcards on Vistaprint the cheapest way I could and pass them out on foot, door to door. And that's kind of how I started building my business. And it's really taken off from there. But the point of me sharing my story is to really give people a perspective as to what you see on social media and what you see in the media in general versus what the reality is. I think a lot of people see this glamorous lifestyle and they see how other people are living and making money and all of this great stuff, but they don't see the background of how long and how difficult it can be and how many sacrifices you need to make to get to that point. So for people to understand that is really important, because if you don't understand that, you're going to be living in this state of disappointment. Disappointment in yourself because you haven't progressed, because you're comparing yourself to other people. You have every value that you need to go after your dreams. And looking at these really successful people with these rose-colored glasses, looking at these businessmen in suits with a lot of fear, looking at, just successful people in general and thinking, how can I even wrap my head around achieving that sort of success? And that's what I want. That's my goal for this podcast, is really to open people's eyes about the fact that those people in the suits and those people that you're looking up to are just human beings. And they started somewhere, and they started, wherever they started. If somebody has a nest egg, it doesn't mean that they are luckier than you or they have a better chance than you. Maybe they have that support and they have that good starting point, but even if you have a small budget, but you have the passion to move yourself forward, that's really what is important. And that's what's going to bring your confidence. I think when people really just focus on comparing themselves to others or trying to fit a mold or follow a model that somebody else has already done, you're trying to achieve someone else's path and someone else's dream. So writing down your goals, writing down your dreams, and really focusing and realizing that every single decision that you make to achieve your dream, you are responsible for. So at the end of the day, if you don't achieve something, you can't blame someone else. You're the person who is responsible for your future. So with that being said, I want to read to you a passage that I wrote on August 30th during the pandemic. I just want to read this to highlight the fact that when you are going through the trials and tribulations of your business, you have to understand that there is no measure of true success other than what you set for yourself. So no matter where I am in my business and where I'm going or what my goals are, I still go through those neuroses. I still go through those anxieties of, am I ever going to be at the place that I want to be? Am I ever going to achieve what I want to achieve? And that's where the evolution of confidence comes in. And that's where making your own decisions and being responsible for your own success does create that confidence for you. Because when you look back and say, wow, this is what I achieved, and I achieved it on my own, that's when you start to really value yourself and value what you bring to the table.
Awful season 1, like the idea of what we're going to cover is spot on. It's just not working.
So now I want to read the passage that I wrote on August 30th, and I reference my, I don't want to say idols, but I reference the people that I look up to, who I really value their input and their opinion on things. I mean, it's unbelievable how much you can learn and how much you can progress just by listening to other people's experiences. When I meet people, especially elder people that, have so much more life experience than you do, if you just really listen to them and really listen to what they're saying, you can gain so much insight. You can gain so many amazing tools for your business and just for your life in general. It's unbelievable how many people do not value other people's advice. I mean, it's free advice to you to use, but as long as you are appreciative of it, you give credit where it's due, and you really are genuine with listening to people, it will be appreciated on the other end. So I want to make that point before I read this excerpt, and here we go. This is called How to Navigate Real Estate During a Pandemic. As Barbara Corcoran said on her podcast I listened to yesterday, the people who will be successful at the other end of this will have thought on their feet and acted quickly. Think about all the people who have already shifted their businesses to adhere to the new normal. I have a client who owns a boutique where she hand makes surf-inspired clothing. I figured that after all of what's going on, that all of the little boutiques would be struggling. But when I stopped in to check on them, they were busier than ever, pumping out adorable masks to businesses and clients alike. They thought on their feet and they came up with a solution to a problem: ugly masks. Any business person can technically do the same thing. I think the reason why we've been so on edge lately and feeling that our businesses are in this transitional phase is because we sense the urge to act quickly and swiftly to move with the current market. The market in real estate has been hotter than ever since the beginning of the coronavirus lockdown, which is surprising to say the least. When we first heard of the virus in April, 2-ish months after having my son Landon, I remember talking to an inspector and a client about the virus. My client was saying that his brother worked for the health organization and said that it would be a horrible global pandemic that would cause a major rift for 2 to 4 years. The inspector scoffed at him and recited his memories of newscasters blowing things out of proportion about these types of instances. My client got cold feet and canceled his contract a day after it was declared a national state of emergency. But he was right in the end. Here we are in July, when I wrote this, stuck in our homes and confused about our futures, confused about how to navigate this arena. How do we continue our jobs remotely? Do we rethink how we're going to spend the rest of our careers? I think it's safe to say that many of us have had this internal dialogue of questioning which way is the safest or the best. There's no such thing as the best way to do something. And for a while, I was very concerned about where the housing market in South Florida was headed. I've been in real estate for 2.5 years now, and I worry about the state of the market daily. I was in high school when the crash of 2008 happened, and I remember how stressful times were then. It's just a natural and annoying thought that's always in my rear view. Anyway, the market has been better and faster than ever as of late, alternative to what most of us anticipated. I had 5 or 6 listings before lockdown, and all of them sold in the first 2-ish weeks of being in quarantine. The point is that I want to take advantage of this time and brainstorm what it is that my business is lacking. I need to write down what is making me feel so overwhelmed and stressed. I have so much pressure on me right now, it seems, and I need a weight lifted off. I finally hired an assistant who is already amazing, and I'm looking for a transaction coordinator. Now, this is in the thick of my business, and I just want to give this as an example of the fact that just because I have closed X amount of deals or I have achieved some kind of success, it in no way means that these anxieties stop. There's always these parts in your business and in your life where you have to take an introspective look and say, what am I lacking? What am I not doing? What am I not serving to my clients that I should be? So that's just an example of the fact that this affects everyone, and everybody has these, I don't want to say come to Jesus moments, but, pivots in their businesses and in their lives. I learned from reading an article that Oprah did in some magazine years ago that her biggest indulgence is really nice, thick towels. For some reason, that always stuck with me. I'm not sure why, but it makes me feel calm and realize that it really is the simple things that improve your life. I've never had more anxiety about anything than the car that I bought for myself. I love it, I can afford it, and I love cars, but I still grieve over it to this day. It's such an extra thing that I feel is very indulgent, and I'm not used to spending money on myself like that. I grew up with a mother who rarely wore makeup, never spent a dime on herself, but who bought her first property at 23, flipped houses, and invested throughout my entire upbringing. I watched that, I valued that, and I saw that working can really be a source of happiness in itself if you alter your mindset. I saw that investing is rewarding. I saw that life isn't about labels or the makeup. It's about working and earning and being nice to people. I guess in writing this, I'm kind of apt to say that I feel like a fraud in some sense. I post about my sales, my car, and a glimpse of a glamorous lifestyle to attract interest and market my business. But the ultimate goal is to inspire and motivate people of all races, ages, demographics to be their best selves. I've always been passionate about learning about other people's journeys to success. They've inspired me all of this time, so why shouldn't I do the same? The message is this. The message today is this. You can actually do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want to do. You just have to really want it and really get out of your own way and really dedicate yourself daily. Not Monday through Friday, not 9 to 5. Just get out of your own way already and go for it, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be real estate, and it shouldn't be only real estate. I just happen to be extremely passionate about real estate. But if you put the skills that you already possess into what you love wholeheartedly, it will be a success. The problem is there's so many distractions along the way. So many bumps in the road that throw people off to get there. That's it. That's the quality that will drive you. Persistence to continue with adversity. The main focus here is to remember that throughout a pandemic, throughout something that's literally rocking everyone's world, there's no one that is exempt from the pandemic. There's no demographic. There's no, of course, certain demographics are affected more than others. I'm not saying that everything is completely equal, but this is a unique time where there is something that is out of our control. It has to do with our health, and it does not discriminate from anyone. So the point of this is to make people understand that there is a journey that's involved in going after your dreams. There is a journey that's involved in achieving your goals. But taking the first step, getting the inspiration to do that. There have been so many times where I have to count my blessings because I've heard advice from other people, because people have been kind enough to pay it forward to give me advice and to really guide me and hold my hand when I needed it. So I want this to serve as me lending a hand to those who really need an ear, or they need to listen to people who have gone through it, who have gone through the ups and downs. And especially for the youth of America right now, and especially for young women who don't feel confident in themselves and don't feel like they can achieve things because of their anxieties or because of what they feel are setbacks. And I'm here to tell you that I struggle with anxiety on a daily basis. It's not something that just goes away. But it is something that you can deal with and use to your advantage sometimes. I feel that my anxiety does not hold me back because I focus it on my business and I focus my anxieties in a positive way. Everybody has something. Everybody has something that could hold them back, but you all have something that can propel you forward. And that's what the evolution of confidence is here to help you with. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you continue to listen to other people's success stories going forward. Have a good day and remain confident in yourself and your abilities today. Thank you.